everyone. Welcome to a brand new live Five Heart podcast on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, X. I'm your host, Greg Mahashko. Join me, my co-host, co-pilot, and great friend, Minnie Hunt, and our special guest to kick off tonight's show after some, quite frankly, I don't know, upheaval, some groundbreaking, ground-shaking news from 24 hours ago to fill us in on all things Husker volleyball is Beth. Beth, welcome back to the show that we love having you on here, and we are excited for, I suppose, the next chapter of Husker volleyball.
Yeah. This isn't typically a time we're talking about volleyball, but the announcement yesterday with John Cook's retirement brought us right into volleyball world, and 25 years of his coaching and moving into a new era with Dani Busboom Kelly.
I tend to bury the lead and introduce people, but not allow them to say hello. So, Minnie, hello. Okay.
Oh,
thanks.
Hello. Hello. And welcome, Beth.
We did just jump right into it, but it's, it was such an impacting, news, breaking news that I almost feel like doing the show now and not last night feels like, I don't say a misstep, and we can't just, uproot all of our lives and everything, but it was such a surprise. I mean, we were talking about this just before going on air, and Beth, you said that after the contract extension was signed back in May of just last year, so 8 months ago or less, that you kind of put your guard down and figure we've got many more years of John Cook.
Yeah, he signed that 5-year extension, and maybe that seemed a little long when he signed it, but still, it was a 5-year extension, and I just turned off my radars and said, there's somebody on the horizon. There's some plan in place for the next coach for Nebraska volleyball, but it's not imminent, and it was. And last night it was jarring, so I don't know that I could have put a lot of complete sentences together to talk to anybody about this. I was shocked. And then, of course, this morning, John Cook had a press conference where he was able to share a little more with us. So we can talk about those things that he shared too. But I don't think he knew when he signed the contract when his retirement would happen. It was sometime in the future for him, but only more recently, based on what he said to us today, was he really clear that it was time to retire.
I think, go ahead, Minnie. I'm sorry.
It seemed as though he was waiting for just like, a sign almost. And when he said that his daughter's going to have another grandbaby and that he's missed so much of his family time as they were growing up, that totally made sense. I mean, you just want the best for somebody that's given 25 seasons to us.
Yeah, as shocking as we all felt by this announcement, on the flip side of it, it is very rational, and his reason for retirement is very sound, and it's the reason that so many people choose to retire and make that milestone happen. Lauren Cook is going to have another baby, and he was very emotional this morning when saying multiple times during the conference he was emotional, but when he said, I'm going to have another grandbaby and I missed so much with my kids, and had to take a moment after that. And right, nobody can question that. There's no question.
We have
you seem like you probably teared up when it's very emotional. Aww.
We have a couple of great comments here that are obviously about Coach Cook in volleyball. BFOTS Josh Hansen, who, by the way, is on time tonight, and I don't know where everybody else is giving him crap, says, no one has earned it more than John, and I can't believe the job keeping this quiet and doing it right that UNL and Louisville did. It's my understanding, to interrupt that comment, but Beth, they told both of the teams at the same time, right? And so there wasn't any like social media leaks or anything like that. I mean, and then Josh says, just all class. DBK is going to be great, but I've still been sad.
Yeah, I don't think either of those, you can be sad that John Cook is retiring. That's a transition. It's a change, right? I mean, I think about like toddler years when you move from one location to another, no matter how great the next location is. We're going to the zoo. You're still going through a transition and you're leaving something, and leaving John Cook in the 25 years that he brought to Nebraska volleyball, and the very monumental things that happened while he was coach, and not just while he was coach, because he was coach. The things that he unlocked in women's sports and women's volleyball are huge. So you can feel both things. I feel sad to be moving forward from the John Cook era of Nebraska volleyball, and excited at the same time that Dani Busboom Kelly is a qualified coach that will bring another look, but was highly influenced by John Cook through his mentorship to her, both as a player and an assistant coach. So you've got both feelings at the same time.
And it's interesting that you use that word mentor, because one of our comments, Minnie, if you don't mind throwing that up here, from Pitt's Husker,
sure,
says, so he missed time with his kids. He mentored thousands of daughters, and we've talked for years about the John Cook coaching tree and how, and I'd fully admit that I'm late into the game. Like I haven't followed, volleyball, obviously, Beth, nearly as long as you have, but there is a ripple effect that he has created over his time, not just in Nebraska, but in the sport, that, what he has taught and coached, has gone on to, the players have gone on to the Olympics and won gold medals there, I believe. And the coaches that, he have coached under him, or players that have played under him who have gone on to coach. So it's quite the like I said, the ripple effect that he has. And I think, I don't have the graphic, I don't have the exact quote, but the head coach from Wisconsin put up a very nice statement about, John Cook and his retirement, what he's meant to the sport. So it's, just levels of respect coming in from every corner of the volleyball world, I think.
Yeah, this was big news in the volleyball world. And, John Cook created that mentorship and that coaching tree really purposefully. It didn't happen simply because he's a good coach. And so many of us thought there are a lot of good coaches from the coaching tree that could, in this theoretical discussion we've been having for years, become the next Nebraska head coach. But there's him quoted as saying that Dani Busboom Kelly needed to leave Nebraska in order to be prepared to come back to Nebraska, right? That's purposeful leadership in telling her she needs outside experience in order to bring that back and make Nebraska's program better. I think his mentorship, his leadership, sometimes with the eye of who would be the next Nebraska coach, but sometimes just with the improvement of that individual, and how can I facilitate improvement of this individual? How do I make Nicklin Hames a better coach? How do I make Kelly Hunter a better coach? How do I use Jalen Reyes's best qualities and showcase those in his recruiting and his ability to spot net fouls in a split second when the rest of us are going, what does he even see? So John Cook is a mentor, and that's a leadership quality that he's purposefully, probably especially in his last years, maybe 7-8 years, we're watching him purposefully mentor people for designed roles, moving them forward in the things that they're pursuing. That's something he's really proud of. His quote is the ability for his players to go on and do other things in life, a variety of things, but he's so proud that a person that he's mentored as a player and as an assistant coach is going to take on the head coaching position for Nebraska.
I I don't know if in the 21st century, this word is, it's a no word, but I don't know of a better word, but especially when you just, kind of mentioned the emphasis the last 6, 7, 8 years that, Coach Cook has had on making sure that, he's leading, even, I don't want to say like, pulling the strings, but, just making sure that he's putting, his coaching staff or potential replacements, seemingly in the right position, grooming them for success. And I know that grooming is like, it's a no word, but it just seems like, he's playing chess when the rest of the volleyball world was playing checkers.
Yeah. And, we can look at those things as if they're negative, preparing people, grooming people, that kind of a thing. But who else is in a better position than John Cook to see the qualities of the coaches sitting next to him on the benches, spending long hours with him in the gym, watching and competing against them? He's competed against Dani Busboom Kelly for years now. She's been at Louisville for 8 years, and he's seen her ability to get the best out of her teams, regardless of their talent level. So who else is in a better position to have opinion and state those opinions to the people making the decisions? Let me tell the athletic director what I see, because I'm in a really good position to see things. I have a perspective of a ton of experience as a volleyball coach. I've also mentored this person firsthand and seen her positive qualities and what she can bring back. So I'm glad he's made his opinion known, and he's been able to voice those opinions to the people who are making those decisions. He had a hand in bringing Dani Busboom Kelly back to Nebraska.
Dana Williams said over on Facebook a couple minutes ago, Nebraska ties aside, was there a better coach available?
What does available mean?
Right.
I know.
Dani wasn't.
She wasn't even available.
She wasn't a free agent, right? She wasn't at the end of her contract, I don't think.
No, she, I don't read contracts for a living, but there's a clause in her contract where she could vacate that contract in order to return to her alma mater. And she told Coach Cook that. He also described in the press conference today that they would often meet up and have dinners together in order to have conversations, longer ones, about either what was currently going on with their teams or, future endeavors like we're watching happen right now, sort of seeing how that could happen. I think there's a ton of great coaches out there. Was there a better coach for Nebraska though? Because this is a team we care about, right? There's a lot of coaches out there. Right. And they may have all of the X's and O's to make a good volleyball team, but was there a better one for Nebraska that knows how the athletic department works, what the philosophy is for the Nebraska athletic department? The straight answer is no, but we could sure make a long list of very high quality coaches that would consider a premier job coaching at the University of Nebraska. What coach would not consider that job? Maybe Texas's coach wouldn't consider it, but
we wouldn't consider them anyway.
But we wouldn't consider them either. There you go. I think any coach would have considered it. And so any coach that you think is respectable and is producing wins, is showing results in their teams, was worth a look, but they probably weren't all correct for Nebraska.
And I wholeheartely agree. You talk about fan engagement. You talk about how important volleyball is. The long running joke, for the last, I don't know how many years, is that Nebraska is a volleyball state. There's tremendous fan support. There's tremendous administrative support, and it is a successful program. It's not like. It's not like John Cook is retiring because he's, struggling and it doesn't make sense to him anymore. He took the team to the national championship, and it's a program that is operating at the highest level. And one of the few women's collegiate athletic programs that is financially solvent. Again, what coach wouldn't want to be here?
Yeah, I mean, he has at least 3 All-Americans. We say he, now she has 3 All-Americans returning next year. Harper Murray, Bergen Riley, and Andy Jackson. Those are at least 3 All-Americans returning. Nebraska Volleyball, John Cook stated today, is in the best position that it's been in his 25 years. And that was another criteria. He wanted to go out while things were good and not when he needed to escape or run away from something that was a burden and not good. And he has enjoyed coaching this team, the pieces of it that remain from last season, and feels really good handing this off to Dani Busboom Kelly.
And it was it was in a snippet of his press conference. I think he was quoting a Neil Young song that says, "Better to burn out than fade away." So again, I'm not the biggest Neil Young fan. I'm not terribly familiar with his entire discography, but that is a very popular sentiment. Again, it's
sorry, that was an accident.
But there's something to be said for going out on top.
So I was looking at his Wikipedia page, and it's already been updated, of course. But I didn't realize in 25 seasons, the worst he ever did was 4th as far as standings. 4th. And that was only one time in 2014. And then the rest of the time, it's always like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Yeah, his statistics are hard to beat in any comparison. And I think he even said, "What else can I do? I could continue to stack up wins." I think 883 is his current tally. And so you can see where the word stack makes sense in this scenario to talk about it. So he felt like, what else can I do? And I think he does have other arenas that he can challenge himself in. He has a roping event that he has planned with University of Nebraska, where they're going to raise some money for the rodeo program. I don't know any details about this, so don't use me as a source here, but I think he has some other places he's going to lend his talents and his notoriety, and he said he'll continue to support the volleyball program and whatever that means for them, for the athletic director and the new coach. But you can't beat his statistics, and it's hard to argue that there's more he needed to accomplish.
Yeah, and I think Brett corrected me. I said maybe runner up. It was in the Final Four last year, so. Thank you, Brett. And I'm a little disappointed that Beth didn't correct me.
Sorry, glossed over it. Dani Busboom Kelly was in the finals in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
So we have that going for us. In fact, Melissa says that DBK, could win a national championship her first year, just like John Cook did. So,
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's going to happen in football or volleyball. One of them's going to win the national championship next year. Or both. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Interesting comment here. And Minnie, I believe you started. I don't know if you want to read it or if you want me to. The one from Josh at 916.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay. I'm ready.
Go ahead. Well, yes.
Josh says, I love Troy Dannon's comments about the revenue sharing in volleyball. Quote, "We don't know what the market will be yet, but we know we will set the market." So again, I mean, you're talking about a program and a fan base that sold out Memorial Stadium, less than 24 months ago. This is a fan base that is on fire for volleyball. We love supporting this program and these women, and as far as the revenue sharing goes, and I mean, Nebraska will be the pinnacle of the volleyball market?
It was just previously announced that Dani Busboom Kelly is going to be the second highest paid NCAA volleyball coach. So she signed a 6-year, $4.575 million deal with Nebraska. Wow. Dang. Good for her.
Still underpaid. I mean,
Well, yeah.
Comparatively,
Comparatively,
looking at her success
yes.
at Louisville. I mean, I don't. It's unfair. It's comparing apples and Buicks to compare her like Matt Rule's contract or things like that. But she has more recent success than just about any coach at Nebraska, with the exception of maybe the women's bowling coach or something. So I don't know. But as far as like the revenue sharing, Beth, I don't know how. I know you are tremendous, on the court, but I don't know if you look too much into the business of college volleyball. But what can you tell us about revenue sharing?
You're right. I'm much better with the X's and O's and the strategies of volleyball. I usually take a homework break when it comes to the money that they're getting paid, but it's part of the game. I acknowledge that. I feel a little old lady-ish when I don't know as much about the money that these women are earning now and what it means to the sport, because it translates. It's part of it. So, but yeah, I don't have a good answer for you.
I think they're still working that out, because it's going to take place this next season for revenue sharing. So
we appreciate your honesty. So what can you tell? I mean, we've mentioned, Dani Busboom Kelly, DBK, past, or Nebraska alum, was, I believe, a national champion with Nebraska.
Yeah. So she came to Nebraska. She grew up in Nebraska and then came as a player and then won a national championship. She came in as a setter. Coach Cook recruited her as a setter, but then moved her to be a libero and won a championship in 2006. Someone will correct me if I got that one wrong. And then she came back and was an assistant coach and won a national championship in 2015 as an assistant coach. And so that 15 team is the same one that Kelly Hunter set. So there's a nice relationship already there, right? She coached Kelly Hunter, and I don't think she was specifically coaching the setters at that point, but and then after that she departed, and in 2017 is when she started at Louisville. And I think the impressive thing about Dani Busboom Kelly is, I like DBK, by the way. I think they sort of introduced that when they announced her as a coach, DBK as her shortened. In 2016, Louisville had a losing record, both overall and in the ACC. In 17, DBK came and they have a winning record. They're picked to finish 8th in the ACC. And I'll have to double check myself, but they end up winning or coming really close to the ACC, have a winning record. So 24-7. I looked that part up today. So I think her ability to get the best out of players and to maximize the team's potential, that's evident in that 1-year turnaround from not having her as a head coach to having her as a head coach at Louisville. Are you raising your hand?
I am. I'm trying to be I was just going to ask if you knew if it was like a big roster turnover, or if she took the same players and just, squeezed every bit of talent and potential and effort out of them to have that, first year effect.
I didn't compare roster to roster. I don't know. I don't remember, I remember that time period when she went there. I don't remember there being a big roster change. But I'm going to add to my case of her being able to get the best out of teams from this year's team, from her 2024 team. Midway through the season, a lot of folks were thinking that Louisville was an okay team, maybe a top 10 team. They had lost a couple matches. They weren't really being dominant, and they had a lot of the main players that they'd had in the past. They had Anna DeBeer, they had Charity Looper, they had Elena Scott as the libero. But we know how their season ended. They made it to the national championship match, and they did it in an unorthodox way. They ran a 6-2 offensive system for most of the season. Most volleyball experts will tell you that that's very hard to win and win at a high level, like national levels, with a 6-2. So they played that system throughout most of the season. But as they got later in the tournament, DBK would change and just use the 5-1 for like a 15-point period of a match. She was so smart on how to use her team, and she knew statistically which rotations with which players were scoring. Her manipulation of when to use the 5-1 and when to use the 6-2 was master level. And so I think what we have to look forward to as a fan base is, getting the best out of players and maximizing teams' full effort and what they can produce. That's what we've seen at Louisville in her 8 years there.
Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment. So 2 NCAA championship matches, 3 NCAA semifinals, 5 regional finals, and have won 4 ACC titles.
Huge success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's exciting. Well, somebody here brought up a good point.
Oh, God.
At least I think it is a good point.
Of course you think.
James Boardman says Lane Kelly is a former Husker long snapper. That's her husband. And maybe he can get a side gig as a long snappers coach. Maybe. You never know. We need all the long snapping help we can get for football, Beth. All right.
I apologize.
Well,
I apologize, Beth.
Oh, sorry. Okay, then.
We don't usually talk about long snappers until like March or April.
No, we talk about them all season long.
Unfortunately, it's been
we do.
For special teams, and long snapper talk has been a little bit more liberally used, and I'm done talking about long snappers if I'm being 100%.
Well, the thing is, Greg, we do need a special teams coach still. So you never know. He could probably come on as an analyst too.
I'm going to say Fred's here, finally. He's late, but that's what we forgive him. Says, damn it, James Boardman, now we're back with 7 degrees of long snapper separation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The hometown kid, or home state, the alum comes home, and it's not equal to the Scott Frost situation, in that there's much more, in my opinion, that there's much more. You have a larger sample size from DBK's time at Louisville, and sustained success, easy for me to say, and just I guess it was encouraging. I'm changing topics, but one of the things that I saw was Harper Murray was on Instagram, saying something like "well" or surprise or something like that, and the comments were like, "Please don't go anywhere. Please tell me you're staying." And she's like, "No, I'm staying." What are the odds? How many of these players are going to stay in Lincoln? They didn't. No offense to DBK, but they came to Lincoln to play for John Cook. Are we going to see a lot of attrition?
And that's a toss up. You're right. They didn't sign up to play for her, right? It's a relationship that you build with a coach, and you go to play for the person that recruited you. And but you don't get much more of a crossover than what we're watching happen right now. You know, she's a former Nebraska player. She coached with John Cook and next to him for many years. She coached another one of the assistant coaches, Kelly Hunter. She coaches with Jalen Reyes. Those two, you know, Jalen Reyes and Kelly Hunter are said to be staying too on the staff. So you don't get much more of a crossover in making it a smooth transition. Lindsay Peterson was also the operations director, and for when DBK was there as a player and as the assistant coach. So I'd be guessing if I, said any of them would leave, or if any of the Louisville players would leave there.
Oh, really?
What John Cook said is, after I told the team, he told Harper Murray first individually, and then he talked to the whole team, and they asked for 5 minutes. And in those 5 minutes, they wanted to talk about how to support DBK and her entry into the coaching. And he got emotional at that moment too, during the press conference, saying that validated my decision to leave when this program is in such a great place with such a team that I enjoy. But that was their first action, is how do we support this incoming coach? So that's a pretty good sign. But obviously people have individual feelings too, even when they're part of this group, this team. So you've got to leave it open that some of them would depart. The transfer in from Baylor that we just learned about a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. That would be a pretty easy one. He told a story about her. He couldn't use her name, but she visited Kansas, and then that coach retired. She visited Oregon to go from Oregon to Kansas. And then she visits Nebraska, and then that coach that we're talking about, he's retiring too. So she's had a roller coaster.
Is her name Allie Check? What is her name?
Yeah, I don't know how to say the last name, but Allie
SCZ something or other. She is the cutest, and I want to call her little girl, but she obviously is what, like,
I think she's 6'4", 6'4", left-handed.
She's so tall.
She's tall.
She's awesome. I'm excited about her.
Yeah, I looked over the Louisville roster. There's one player, sophomore from Millard, from Omaha. She played for Millard. I didn't see her on their court at all this year, so I don't know how good she is. Elena Bankston, so maybe somebody out there watched her play in high school. A lot of their players were graduate students or seniors, so I don't see a huge play happening with some of them transferring over to Nebraska, but you can surprise us. That was proven last night, so some of these players may surprise us too.
I didn't know about that story that you said about how the team wanted 5 minutes for themselves to figure out how to best support DBK. And the only comparison that I can pull, that's the type of player leadership that I think you only find in like Ted Lasso, where I don't know, Beth, if you watched Ted Lasso.
It's so true.
But they have that AFC Richmond type of, all right, let's all work together and figure this all out. So it is, that's when you said that, that's the first place that I looked, is how are we pulling together and working together through this new situation. So,
it's so neat that they did that. That is what our, sorry to bring it back to football, but that is what our football team needs. Just that togetherness where, okay, give us 5 minutes as a team. And, they kind of collectively are like, okay, this is what's happening. How do we go forward? I just think that says so much.
Like BFOTS Josh Hansen says, I believe in believe. and I would follow that up with barbecue sauce. Beth, it was definitely not news we were expecting. As we talked, both universities, all parties involved, did a great job of keeping it a secret until it became known. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought at the end of January we'd be having this type of news? And it definitely, keeps you on your toes as far as the premier volleyball writer in the state of Nebraska, and for what could be an off season of who the hell knows what else.
Yeah, I'll watch my social medias a little closer now to just see what moves maybe are going to happen, and hope for none. I think, the team that is set, I think that adding that one opposite was a complete team for Nebraska and a very solid one to go into next season. So I hope for no changes. I don't think they want for any more transfers. But head coaching change is it's a really big deal. And, if you have 4 years of eligibility to use your physical talents in college, that's a gift. And so, I think these women will think about it, and they've made a really good choice of being at Nebraska. That's a pretty great place to play volleyball, but a coaching change is a big deal. The coach changed in college while I was there, and I was pissed. I was really mad. I felt like deceived. And so some of those emotions, I really know them. I know what it feels like to have made a life decision as a young person. I chose a school at 17 years old, and then the person that I made that choice with left, and I was really angry. So that doesn't mean that's what they have to feel, but I can get there really quick and understand what that can feel like for them, potentially.
Yeah.
We haven't talked at all about one coaching change that preceded all of this, and it was on Tuesday that it was announced or released that Jordan Larson was stepping down from the coaching staff. And I guess the reason being was to pursue the pro volleyball efforts, up the road, I believe in Omaha. Was it? And we weren't there. I'm not expecting you to know. Just speculate. Did she step down purely to pursue the pro volleyball avenue, or was it she got the interview and didn't get the job? And I mean, what's your take on her departure?
So, like this, Pit Snipe wants to know: did Larson get shorted?
That's fly on the wall. Don't we all wish we knew? She did not have enough experience to make any argument that she was a better candidate than DBK. And I think out of huge respect to her and her playing experience and the things that she's done for women's volleyball, you give her the conversation before you give it to the public. And and if her aspirations were to be a head coach or to have been considered for this job when the time came, right back to our theoretical discussion that we thought we were having 8 months ago, then you give her that respect to tell her ahead of time. But she did not get shorted in not getting this job. She does not have enough coaching experience, period, and certainly not enough head coaching experience. She has a lot of playing experience that will translate should she make that translation, right? Do the work to translate playing to coaching. She has invested, both as a player and financially in the Love Volleyball Professional League. So she's playing for Omaha Love, and then she's one of the founding athletes. So I think that's true. I think she's very involved in that and could give that more of her attention. But I don't think the two stories are not linked. They're linked together. She left because this change was happening. She was not involved in the change, but was probably going to be welcomed. I can't think that disengaging from Jordan Larson as the University of Nebraska is a positive move. She is a valuable alumni.
And you're right. There's no arguments when you compare the resumes. One coaching resumes. I want to make sure that I'm very specific in that.
Mm-hmm.
One has coached a D1 program as a head coach to elite levels, and the other one has been a little bit of time as an assistant coach. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if that is her decision to get more into coaching, like Jordan Larson's time will come as she builds up that coaching resume more. But you can't, I think, and again, Jordan Larson and I go way back to when I was 21 years old. It was the fall of 2003, and the Shattern Cardinals volleyball team made it to the state tournament, and they had a quick exit thanks to Jordan Larson, the Nebraska commit, and her, I believe, Columbus SCOTUS squad, if memory serves me right. And so there, and I was in the gym. I watched that, and you can see, you can see the elite talent there. That doesn't always translate to coaching, but again, if the knowledge is there, it's just the needing more experience.
Yeah, I think if she chooses to coach, she'll be an excellent coach, and she will have people falling over themselves to be her mentor coach, to be. And I think she played a lot of that role. Kartik Karai is the head coach of the U.S. national team and Olympic team, and then she as a player coach or on the court coach sort of a thing. So she will have those opportunities opened at every turn for her. But right now, this was not something where I think she was the right choice for now.
Yeah. Maybe sometime in the future. Okay, Melissa just gave us an update. It's 70 tied with 42 seconds left, and they just called a timeout. So we're not even. We had Jarek on Monday, men's basketball, and he said he doubted, very highly doubted, we would win this game, even though it's at home. But yeah, I mean, we've actually been leading almost the entire game. So
until the last minute, which is kind
of course. Hey, don't jinx us, Greg.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm speaking truth to power.
All right. Yeah, don't do that. Everybody's standing up.
A couple more volleyball questions here. BFOTS Josh Hansen wants to know, I'm terrible about knowing which sports are at which. When's the next volleyball Olympic build start? Now, volleyball is a summer Olympic sport. And I believe that's 28.
Because didn't they just play, and then the next one's in Los Angeles for, but yeah, 2028. I
think so.
And Jordan Larson is retired again, so I'm not expecting her to be part of the next Olympic team, but yes, a summer Olympic sport.
I think it's safe to say there's probably going to be at least one former Husker on that team.
Yeah, I think the libero position would be the most likely. Justine Wong-Arantes was the last Olympic team libero, and Lexi Rodriguez could make a really great run at being the next Olympic or national team libero. Of course, Kelsey Robinson-Cook has been on the Olympic and national team. I don't know if we have anybody else that is in the running. I'm running through my brain right now, but I don't know that we have anybody else that is, training at that high level right now for the national team. So libero is our best chance, I think.
Let's see. I'm just doing a quick scroll here.
Okay. Now Illinois just called timeout with 18 seconds left. Still tied.
Earlier, Pitt says DBK is fine, but I'm partial to D Boom.
I like that. That's a great nickname.
I feel like that's a good player nickname. I don't know if
Da boom.
I think announcers are going to have a good time with her.
Yeah.
Really Dani Busboom Kelly, something like that. I won't be that person, but somebody else will do it.
Hey,
that was good, Beth.
Don't short yourself.
Yeah.
You could. I believe in you. Okay.
I looked up the Pantone, the color combos for Louisville and for Nebraska. They're the same. She doesn't have to chase any of her jackets, wardrobe, and her apparel. This has been planned.
James Corbin wants to know about the libero. Will it be Mock or Choboy next year? Mock played DS and got a lot more at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about this in terms of like a race, I think Mock has a step on Choboy right now as far as the skill that she's better at that is critical as a libero is the serve receive. And so you remember Mock serve received a lot more than Choboy did. And Choboy is an excellent defensive player. But that serve receive and being the anchor, the person you want to pass next to, sort of brings stability. Oh gosh, Minnie, what's happening?
Nothing. 5 seconds left.
What's the score?
Still tied, 70-70.
Okay.
But, I think that's why you have this off season is Choboy's going to work and she's going to work and she's going to work. And so she'll make a run at it, and her skills are good enough that she could overcome that step that Mock has on her right now. So I hope it's a really good race. I hope it's a super hard decision, and that I think they'll both get playing time next year. But if you made me choose right now, Mock would be the libero.
It says, it cracks me up when Beth pretends that she's never raised her voice. Now, you coach, right?
Yes.
And you're a parent.
Yes.
So you raise your voice, I'm guessing plenty.
Yeah. Well, or I just use a whistle so I don't have to raise my voice. That gets their attention pretty good.
That's what I need. That's what I need around the house with the boys. Just a whistle.
Every time. That's a good idea.
Or like Roy Kent, who, I just say whistle.
Oh yeah.
So sorry, that's two Ted Lasso references.
You've got your limit there.
See, Josh gets it. I got Josh watching Ted Lasso last year, so we're all happy. So we have, and I know we talked about a little bit. So maybe if they missed that part, Vince might have. Vince says, does DBK bring any players with her? And Pitt says, good question. Who do we steal? Now, you said there's maybe a sophomore from Millard, but a lot of seniors and grad, transfers. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like, in the nicest way possible, Dani Busboom Kelly kind of leaving the cupboards a little bare, isn't she?
Yeah, I haven't followed their transfers. I would think a lot of players are interested in transferring there if they're looking. We watched when Anna DeBeer went down, a freshman outside hitter come in and replace her, and she's called Peyton Peterson, and her mom is a coach. Her mom was the coach for UNI, somebody that did really great in the tournament. Her mom is a very good coach, and her team almost beat Louisville. That was an interesting thing to watch a mom coach against her daughter. So she's a really good player. She's from Iowa, so that doesn't seem, unrealistic. And then the one player that I enjoyed watching, Reese Robbins is a opposite. She's a sophomore. I think she's 6'2". She's from Texas. Maybe, as I scrolled through their roster and I thought of potentials, those three players, the one from Millard, Peyton Peterson, and Reese Robbins, I said maybe those would be additions to Nebraska. But the person who's going to take over for Dani Busboom Kelly at Louisville is Dan Meskey. He was her, I think, associate head coach was his title. He also coached at Nebraska, the tree. And so he'll take over University of Louisville. So they have a pretty smooth transition happening there too. And he was the lead on a lot of their recruiting. So I think he'll have a plan in place. They already had a plan in place to replace some of those pivotal people that were graduating.
So I was also reading that our first game is against Pitt. And apparently there's like some sort of rivalry between Dani Busboom Kelly and Pitt.
Dan Fisher. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan Fisher. So tell us about that. What's going on there?
I don't know the details of that too much. I mean, they've both been really good teams, but I don't know the specifics between the two coaches.
I guess they've been rivalries since they started building their teams up, and they kind of started at the same time.
Yeah, I remember watching like a documentary during the NCAA tournament where they just said they wouldn't be the teams they are without the other ones. And, I think the coaches didn't necessarily want to say that, but sort of had to say that for the story. I don't know. But both teams have risen in recent years. If you think about, habitual or long-term volleyball powerhouses, it was... He's leaving us.
He just leaves.
The Penn States, the Nebraskas, Long Beach State, if we want to go back a little bit further back. But some teams that have just risen in recent years are those Louisvilles, the Pitts, to be consistent top 10 teams. So that's probably that story, Minnie, of where their rivalry is based. Dan Fisher was one of the finalists for the women's Olympic team coach. He did not get the job, which surprised me, but he'll be at Pitt. They lost a really great player, Tori Stafford. She transferred to the T school in the southern part of the United States, which is massive. She's a really good player. So anyways, that will be part of the story of next year. Tori Stafford at University of Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's really exciting that I guess DBK won twice, defeating Pitt both times in 2022 and 2024 for the national championship. So that's kind of like, this is going to be really fun. So Pitt came in runners up because she won.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's our first game.
Huh. That's breaking news to me. I didn't know.
Time to get all caught up in the rivalry there, Beth, by the time the season
rolls. I love rivalries.
And so any more taffy that we can particularly pull on this, Beth? This is all, again, very shocking news to receive last night, and we are very grateful that you could join us on pretty short notice to discuss it. But we're hoping for less excitement, I suppose, in the off season. We don't want a bunch of attrition, a bunch of our players transferring out. But anything else that you can think of that, or did we kind of cover it all here in the last almost hour?
Well, we just need to make a list. We're getting on to an hour. We just need to make a list of what to name after John Cook. So that's a do out for all of us.
I love that.
That too. The court's already named. The building's already named. So what is named after John Cook?
Is there going to be a volleyball practice facility in the works at all, or is that even something that they need?
I don't think they need that. John Cook said today that they needed more seating in Devaney, and then they announced that they were going to add 1,500 seats. It'll be closer to 10,000 in the Devaney now. So, I guess that seating space could be named after him. That doesn't seem like enough.
No,
I don't
definitely
think you
not.
need a volleyball practice facility. You need 2 courts in order to practice.
You know what they should do is this, exactly what everyone's saying, a statue.
I want more.
Well, okay, I'm from a small town called Prescott, Arizona, and in front of the courthouse, they have this beautiful bronze statue of Bucky O'Neill riding his horse. How cool would that be? Of John Cook riding his horse, his cowboy hat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be neat.
Yeah.
I don't know
Lots
if
of
I'd
good
call
ideas.
Prescott with almost 48,000 people a small town.
Well, it wasn't that big when I was growing up there. So
I mean, the entire population for the metro area is almost 130,000. Like, I'm from a small town of 4,000 people.
it was
Not where I
small.
live now. Not where I live now.
When I was there, okay?
48
It
years
was
ago.
small. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with no?
I'm sorry.
72.
Hmm?
76, 72 Huskers. 45 seconds left. First overtime. Hopefully last one.
Let me ask you a question. This is going to rile some people up, so I'm ready for the hate. Could you just rename the building after John Cook?
No.
I mean, Bob Devaney didn't coach volleyball or basketball, which used to be played there. Could you put Bob Devaney's name something else that's football related and rename that facility the John Cook Arena?
I have no idea.
I mean, you
I
should.
don't think that's allowed. I don't think that's allowed. Yeah.
No, you got people already angry over there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not rename the Bob.
Do not. Yeah, you've got
Fine.
some strong no's.
All right. 78, 72.
When it's those two clowns. So, let's get this dub. We need this basketball win. We're on a 6-game slide, but 2 score 9 years ago. That is 49. I know what scores are. So
You guys. All right. We're going to get this, right?
James says, now here we go. The complex is the Devaney Sports Center. It houses other sports. Why not name the volleyball arena the John Cook Volleyball Arena?
But what's the difference? What space are we delineating? Because
I don't know. I know, Don, I'm on very dangerous ground. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've been on shaky ground for most of my life. So all I do is upset people.
Here we go. I think we just nailed it. Yeah. They can't come back. Melissa points out Dylan was on TV.
Damn it, Melissa, seriously? We had zero plans to mention his name on tonight's show at all.
No, we did. We knew we would be mentioning him at some point. We always do. There he is again.
All right. I'm going to go one step further. Pitt says, I got $5 that says Minnie doesn't know who the sewer is. I'll bet that $5 that you don't know where the sewer is.
I don't know what you're talking about. But
I knew it. Beth, I know you know where the sewer is. Beth.
Sewer.
Can I get another clue? What are we talking about?
Beth is smart. She asked for clues. I just
in Lincoln.
You know where I live, right?
In the state of Nebraska. I lived in Nebraska less than you did, and I know about the sewer.
The statue of the sewer, modeled after the traditional method of hand sewing. Only that's not how you spell it. Why is it S-O? Oh, it's grain for planting. Okay.
Well, I'll do some homework. When I visit again, I've got homework now. Thank you.
Shabby confirms
Just what
it
you
is
wanted.
seed sower on top of the Capitol building. On the dome.
Well, now we all know.
Here we go. Maybe we replaced the sower with a statue of John Cook. For all to see. Yes. Pitt. That's where we put Cook.
Oh my goodness. 26.5 seconds left. 78-72 Huskers.
I like it.
It's feeling pretty good. Another timeout though, I think.
All right. Well, Beth, we thank you so much for joining us. We you are welcome here anytime. But we do hope that it's a less exciting or less eventful offseason now. It was definitely not news that any of us anticipated. Like you said, we discussed it at the outset. When the extension was signed back in May of 2024, you put your radar down, you let your guard down a little bit. You said John's going to be here for another 4 or 5 years. And, well, the call of grandchildren, just a little too much for John Cook. And he's riding off into the sunset like any good cowboy would. So
that's a good idea. Vince Watson has a great idea. When he says Cook Olympic Training Center when it comes to Nebraska. For sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I do.
A lot of the summaries of John Cook's career talk about dream big, and so you know that's a big dream. Bring the Olympic Training Center and to the mecca of volleyball. Yeah.
Well, Beth, we will release you from this ridiculous show and let you get on with the rest of your regularly scheduled Thursday night. And we are going to shift gears. But any final John Cook thoughts from you, Beth?
I think just an amazing career, you know, like everybody's been summarizing and I've been watching and reading just pretty big things for women's volleyball and his idea to dream big and to open that idea aperture for everyone around him. Minnie's celebrating. We win, huh?
We won. We won 80-74. Woo!
And Illinois was top 20
We broke
team, I
the
believe.
18. And we were on a six game losing streak before this. So, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Beth, will you just come on now every time that there's a men's basketball game and just all through osmosis will generate all the success that volleyball had and transfer it to the men's basketball team? Because women won today too.
John Cook was on the court tonight, so maybe it's more his win than my win. I mean,
he started it.
I like credit, but
yes.
the two volleyball coaches were on the court, and so maybe they get the credit more than. I mean, coordination does everything. I know, but
all runs through coordination.com. So once again, Beth, thank you so much for joining us. All the best to you and your family, and can't wait to have you again on the show. Have you on the show again, however that's supposed to be said.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye, Beth.
Bye.
Okay.
And
wow.
That was a tremendous volleyball conversation. We, as always, thank Beth for her expertise and her just insight to what's been a wild, let's say, just over 24 hours here in Nebraska volleyball land. So it's the first thing about this is when John Cook was hired at Nebraska. This is going to make me feel old. I was still in high school. So,
wow. I was too. You know, what's crazy though, is you and we went over a rough outline yesterday before this news hit. And so we had, Jordan Larson on there, of course, but we are going to focus mainly on football and talk about that. And we got everyone's world got rocked. That's kind of crazy. But I love all the tributes that they've been doing so far, and I just think it's beautiful.
Fred says Minnie was in a high school. Yes, stalking.
Okay.
All right. So, yep.
What do you have here, Greg? What's this thing at the bottom? Oh, I know what it is. It's okay.
It's for later in the show.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
BFOTS Josh Hansen says, did you guys talk about Greg Sharp?
Oh.
And Josh, you've been on the show since the very beginning, so you should know that we did not.
We didn't.
But while we're talking about honoring people who have given a lot to the university and the athletic department, it should be mentioned, and you know, we probably won't do it justice, but they announced and presented Greg Sharp with the announcement that the radio booth at Memorial Stadium was going to be renamed the Greg Sharp radio studio or radio booth or whatever it is, with a tremendous wall display. It was his the words for his call to the Hail Mary against Northwestern from Ron Kellogg III to Jordan Westerkamp. Gosh, that seems like ages ago too. You know, it was a very, very powerful, honestly uplifting presentation that they made to Greg Sharp. So
that was, I mean, it's so great. And to see him there to receive those honors, I mean, that's just perfect. It really is.
And, you know, we don't know anything, right? I mean, I know the prognosis isn't good. You know, I believe in miracles. Al Michaels taught me to believe in miracles, but, you know, and I don't want to bring this show down. It was so good that they could do it and present it to him, and he's I'm not trying to be crass or crude, but like upright and above ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was done posthumously. So.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, he's kind of like, honestly, without him, I don't know if I would love Nebraska football as much as I do. Because there have been so many Saturdays that I've had to listen to the game instead of watch, being at, you know, my daughter's soccer games. And nobody calls it like him. So I think it's wonderful to honor him like this.
Agreed. I didn't mean to talk over you there. Josh says, great tribute to a great Husker. When the university gets something right, they get it right.
They do.
Fred says, it's a good deal. Knew they'd do something nice for Sharp. And Pitt likes it. Sharp's an icon. So,
yeah. All right. Well, so should we just do a little update on people have been.
Good job.
Huh?
Oh, for James Jefferson Airplane with the nice classic rock reference.
People have been asking what's going on with your background because it sure does look snazzy.
It's virtual.
Is it?
I decorated or virtually created a new wall and everything. No. All right. So this is going to be fun. Try to do this in a way that.
Wait. Before Pit Snipe was the first one. Okay. He says nobody's mentioned it, but Greg's studio changed.
Yeah.
And then Melissa goes, wait a second. Where are the boob lights? I just think she just
no boob lights.
Are you going to get any?
No, there's just not.
No.
These are all recessed. It's all recessed lighting in here. So I'm in my basement. My basement of my new house that I closed on January 3rd and moved in last weekend. So, yeah.
Yay. It's a really nice background you have
it
there.
Is. Thank you. That's That's a real live fake ficus tree. On this side is a real live working fireplace. I got
Nice.
a recliner there. Got a TV in my work laptop, and then on the other side, I got a bar. So yeah.
I like those. Best friend of the show, Josh Hansen, says plants in the basement. That's bougie as shit. And
So-
it is. Good for you.
I will just rip the Band-Aid off of this one, and the last 6+ months have been not great for me personally, and my wife and I are separated, with the plans being to make it legal, and so I moved in this past weekend and had the boys over for a few nights, and they're at my over at the other house, I guess. I don't know how to say it all. But yeah, so Wednesdays and Thursdays they'll be over there, and we'll alternate weekends. So yeah, this is my new house now, and you know the thing that I'm trying to impress upon the boys, especially younger boys, my oldest, he kind of gets it, is that you know, this isn't my house that they come to visit. It's, you know, they live here too, like half the time. So yeah, so the show that I did last Friday night was the last show from there, and all subsequent shows will be from here until, you know, this house, I don't know, this house is older than me, and this house is older than you, Minnie, by a lot. So
What does that mean?
I mean, it's
Jeez, I was actually just going to show a compliment for you, and you say that.
No, I said it's a lot older than you. This house was
It's
built
even older than you? Okay.
No, I said it's a lot older than you. I said a lot older than you, not even older than you.
Okay.
So yeah, this house was built in 1956, but it's built very solid. I actually like the house quite a bit. And yeah, I mean, I'm still not. I mean, all the big stuffs. I mean, everything's here. I think, you know, there might be, you know, some varieties of barbecue sauce or, you know, things like that out in the other garage that you know, I'll pick up from time to time. But, you know, I think this situation's certainly not ideal. You know, in talking with you know, her, again, I just don't know how to label. I guess technically, legally, still my wife, but you know, whatever. You know, we're everything's amicable, agreeable, peaceful, cooperative. We're doing this because we know it's what's best for the boys. And always with the silver lining, Melissa, better internet. Yeah. Thank you.
That
Melissa.
is, yeah, we're thrilled about that. We're thrilled about your ficus, and you have a ton of support here, Greg.
Yeah. No, it's
so nice. Everybody is saying such nice things. I mean,
oh,
Dustin Waterman starts off with, "Now we can have fireside chats with Greg."
Ooh, that could be a working fireplace. So.
That could be like a segment, a new segment that we haven't even thought about.
Fireside chats. We could have been doing those virtually, like with a little virtual.
Could you imagine?
You know, at the end of the day, I love this show. And Minnie, you and I have talked, you know, in our production meetings about how important the show is to me. How important the show is to Brian. You know, I'm not trying to equate one to the other, but the show carried on because Brian would have been disappointed in me if I had to let the show go. He's like, no, we need the content. You know, we need you know, people to go to the website or whatever. But what this show has become for me is an integral part of my week. I look forward to Thursday nights. I look forward to hanging out with all of you. At times it's been the uplifting distraction that I need. And, at times it just, helps to just take my mind off of, quote unquote reality. So, yeah. And the good news is, I don't know if y'all saw, if you haven't seen, go watch the little short I put up a couple days ago on YouTube. I have a full-fledged beer fridge out in the garage, and it is pretty well stocked with Yingling. So I'm blessed. I got so much support here from you. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me do this the right way. I have so much support from this group, you all, the I appreciate all of you. You enrich my life in ways that I used to do the show with, like, pre-recorded with John or with Hoss or with John and Hoss or Todd. And, it's just the three of us or two of us, talking. And when we switched it to live, that's when you really start to build the community. So,
True.
Yeah. So thank you all. The comments are tremendous. They mean a lot. They mean the world. So I'm ready to change topics now.
Okay.
What else do we got to talk about tonight, Minnie?
We can do that. We can absolutely do that. But before we do,
Oh shit.
I think it is worth saying, Greg. Number one, I think you have built a wonderful community here, and I'm so glad that I get to be a part of it. But, you carried on Brian's wishes, and gosh, that's more than most people would do. It shows what a good friend you are. And I think people should know that. So good going. And
we were packing stuff up at the old house, and I was getting some help from my folks, and my mom was helping, and she's like, "Oh, here, you don't need this. We'll put this aside. This is definitely not yours." I'm like, "Actually, Mom, that is mine. That's got to go to the new house." And it's the infamous wig.
put it on.
I'm not going to put it on. I don't want to make Fred sad. I think everybody's sad enough. So.
Okay. Well, there's a little bit to be excited about.
Who's that guy?
Hope. Number 50?
Yeah.
In green?
Yeah. Who is that guy?
He is the newly registered Nebraska alumni. Don't know for sure if he's coming or not.
Alumni?
To Nebraska.
Or enrollee?
Or enrollee. Yes. Registrant, if you will.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he came and visited. This is Rocco Spindler. He's 6'5" and 330 pounds. Interior offensive lineman from Notre Dame.
Hey, we
just
use
put.
offensive lineman.
Yeah, no kidding. He just put it in his name in the portal last Thursday, and he came and visited on Tuesday, and everybody that has a crystal ball has him coming to Nebraska so far. And in fact, he's still going to take a visit to Michigan, but he's already missed the registration window. So that means he wouldn't be able to play in spring practices. So it does look pretty hopeful that he's coming to Nebraska, which we need him.
Melissa says that he's visiting other schools this weekend.
Yeah.
But you think he's missed out on their registration?
Oh, he has. He already has. Yeah.
Vince is also doubtful.
Guys,
where's your optimism? Where's your hope?
Okay, we just won a game we weren't supposed to win.
Yeah, damn it.
We got this.
Oh, so it's important to note. And did I structure this on purpose? Probably.
What?
At the old under last week and every week prior, I was doing the show directly underneath people who were asleep. Now on Thursday nights, I'm the only one in the house, so I can be louder. If you need me to be louder, I can be louder.
Yeah. Okay. That probably feels good, pretty good after years and years of having to keep your voice down, huh?
There's been a whole lot of this. And now I can talk like this. So,
yay!
It could be a whole new show moving forward.
Positivity. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Yeah, you should make it a total Nebraska man cave. Do you guys have any suggestions how he could do that? Oh, like hang a flag?
Right. I wanted to hang this earlier, but I got told I wasn't allowed to. So
I know.
I don't know. I think we should put it right here above the fireplace. What do you all think?
Yeah, I mean, that's an option. That's one option.
This is also where my kids are going to play when they're here. So,
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be, can't go too hog wild. So,
hey, Pit Snipe says, Minnie, I did the research. We are getting Spindler. That's what it looks like. He hasn't made it official, but it looks like we are. So,
Dustin says, Minnie, when you said Notre Dame, it sounded like Notre Dame. Also, number 50 is going to be a Husker.
Yay! Is it for real? Do we know this for real?
No, it's probably.
Did it happen? Okay.
I just want to put it out there. As Pitt says, brother, if you were closer, I'd be in the driveway. The beer's cold. Just give me a heads up. No surprise visits. Give me a heads up. Let's coordinate that a little bit.
There you go. There you go. So we'll look into doing a fireside chat with Greg, adding that to the 5-heart layout, because this week again he nixed the 5-heart theater because of all the Nebraska volleyball news.
Yeah, that's why. That's totally why. Are you going to interior decorate shaming next?
Well, I mean, there's not much to shame right now. Although you have what is going on back there? What are the things that are above the bookshelf?
I'm so glad you asked. May I?
Mm-hmm.
It's more so for Nerds United, but hey, it's the off season. Let's have some fun.
I am a person. I am a person. But remember, Greg also calls me his nemesis sometimes. So
all right. So it's a 4-pack of Funko Pops. All right. And
what are they?
Funko Pops. Are you familiar with Funko Pops?
No.
Okay. They are pop culture figurines that have a very distinct look. Largely no mouths, big eyes. So the first one I have here is Iron Man, specifically from Avengers Endgame, as he does the snap. All right.
Oh,
by the way, I didn't buy most of these.
You haven't even opened them, right?
No, you don't open them. You just keep them in the box.
Okay.
I have a Groot. This was a loot crate. It glows in the dark. A little Groot there. I have. Let's do this one next. This is Etrigan the Demon. That will be this is going to be the one that most people probably won't know, but the one that everybody's going to know. You should know this one too. I have a Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
So. Oh, yes.
So that's
okay.
That's what was up on top. I'm not going to put them back up there now.
They probably shouldn't go back up.
That's hurtful. They got to go somewhere out of reach.
Okay.
Nebraska T-Bone says, for the man cave, Nebraska neon sign, a pick of Coach Osborne, a pick of Memorial Stadium are good starters. Cool.
Yes.
Email me. I'll send you my address, and you can send them to me. Nebraska T-Bones. And also, Nebraska T-Bones, if you want to put a few T-Bones steaks in there too, that'd be awesome. And Josh is not wrong. I did gift him a Groundhog's Day Funko Pop, and he opened it. It's in his office. So I keep mine in my box.
A normal person.
Thank you.
Anytime. Well, Greg, I know this is the part of the show that you have been waiting for.
Is this where we talk about the? I think we should talk about the spring game, or what this version is going to look like. And then we'll come back to my last thing.
Why do you always do that?
Is it a big deal?
You're changing the order.
Yeah, well, if it's a big deal, we'll just keep it the way it is.
All right. I guess we'll talk about the spring game since I am a person. Okay. Troy Dannon, because I've been wondering what the heck is going on. We have not had a date. November goes by, no date. December goes by, no date. We go to a bowl game, no date. January is almost over, no date. Well, we finally got a date. April 26th. So you can circle that on your calendars.
Okay.
But it's not going to be the traditional spring game that we are used to seeing, like the red and white game. Because of the way that football has changed and all the rules that have changed, and the fact that the transfer portal opens right after that, right during that time, we don't want to give any coaches any, from other teams, any looks at what we look like, what our plays look like, and what players to go after. So they're going to figure it out. They don't know. It won't be televised either. That's the thing that's killing me right now. So if we don't go, we won't be able to see it.
So if it's not going to be televised, I guess they don't want, a Connor Scallion situation where somebody's just coming in and taking notes like from the stands. Otherwise, I don't know, whatever. Who cares? Honestly, I think at the end of the day, they need the, well,
I live in Arizona.
No. I mean, who cares if it's televised? That's what I'm saying. Like,
I do.
No.
Okay, sorry. Just get it out. I'm sorry.
I'm in agreement with you. Just televise it, because the coaching staff's going to have 50 or so guys that they're going to have to cut or advise, relocation anyway. So big whoop. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it. It's just do it the way it's, and I'm not like a dyed in the wool, do it the way it's always been done guy. I don't see the value in doing something a certain way because that's the way it's always been done. I feel like that's a horrible way to go about things. But in this case, in this instance, it's a glorified scrimmage, and it's always been so bland and vanilla that you're not giving up a whole lot anyway. So just, I don't know. Is this something that Troy Dan has done elsewhere in his,
It's not him. It's not him. He said it's Matt Rule's deal. So
Okay.
it's his call. It's his call. I understand. You know, it's all the rules just keep changing on us. And you do want to protect yourself from the rules changing. I mean, if you can change things up and still give the fans a good experience, then why not? But it does kill me that it's not going to be televised. I just can't even believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I so look forward to this. Like the one thing I look forward to in the spring.
I wonder, you know, and the only reason I think about this now is because of what's going on this week. I think it was I pulled up Hulu earlier, and they were talking about the Pro Bowl games. So I wonder if they're going to use that day as more of a showcase. And Minnie, I know you remember this because you watched it much more intently than I did. But the Polynesian Bowl last year, you know, and they had just more or less just skills competitions, almost like a punt, pass, kick, but obviously more in depth. I wonder if they do something like that, you know, for a few hours rather than going out there and, you know, actually scrimmaging. I could see it both ways. I don't know.
Like this. Best friend of the show, Josh Hansen, says, my idea is make it a fan appreciation scrimmage, open practice, and include autograph session, etc., to raise money for NIL. I kind of love that idea.
I mean, yeah, but I also don't.
We already sell like 50,000 seats as it is. So what if we sold out because it's not televised and we do something like that?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you'll ever sell out the spring event, whatever it is, whether it's the spring game or the spring whatever. I don't think you're ever going to fill up the stadium because at the end of the day, it's just not as it doesn't carry the weight of, you know, an actual in-season game that means something. That's just my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong. But you get into spring, you get into like April, you're also getting into like, you know, not harvest season, but planting season, sowing season. You know, guys are, you know, farmers are in the fields, and a lot of those farmers, you know, are football fans too. So I don't know. I don't see it. There's a way where this idea from BFOTS, Josh Hansen, has value, raises money, does exactly the thing. I don't know. I kind of like, you know, I don't see it selling out, but there's a way to generate revenue off of this for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I know. Just sell alcohol in the stadium.
Now I like this. Dustin with a great one. And gosh, so timely. Why not some version of letting kids play football with the players in some form or fashion to honor Jack Hoffman? That's awesome. That is awesome.
All right. Take that one to the boss. I like that too. Good one.
We already know who the highest bidder would be, Carl.
That's just gross.
That's what I'm saying. Do a Pro Bowl skills competition and hide your greatest assets.
You can't. Nobody would want to see that. So no.
I disagree. I think there will be a demand for that. And again, if you're changing the format to go away from a game, but you still want to have an event that gets people out, you can't just say, come on out to, you know, Fan Fest, because they already do that. They already have one of those days. So you have to give them something else. And it'd be fun because then you could put,
well, maybe they do away with that fan day and make it part of this.
Maybe. But I think, you know, if you do a side-by-side skills competition, then we can see that Heinrich's clearly the better quarterback. And
he's not even a quarterback anymore. He's a tight end.
But I think the fun of these the fun of these competitions is getting players, you know, like it'd be great to see Riley Van Poppel, you know, in a you know, quarterback type of content, because it's out of the norm, right? it's subverting
Be
expectation.
fun.
You
Okay.
expect Dylan to, go up against the other quarterbacks in the room. You don't expect Riley Van Poppel to go and because it all makes it.
What would you do
fun.
with
It's all
Dylan?
what I
Like
do
they were
with
saying
Dylan?
earlier, they were saying earlier, the announcers were saying at the basketball game, make sure he's wrapped in like the bubble wrap.
Here's what I would do with
Don't
Dylan.
let him do the dunk contest.
No, I wouldn't put him in, but you put him in the dunk tank, or just put him in the corner. Put Dylan in the corner and say, "Sit here, be seen and not heard." Like we're done with you.
Are you kidding me? What is wrong with you?
Where do we start? OLine 40-yard dash competitions. Yes. Yeah, we could try. Here you go. Let's see. Dylan, how good are you? Are you a good long snapper? Maybe that's where your talents best lie. Or Josh says kicking field goals.
Yeah, he could do that too, I'm sure. I'm sure he could do it all.
I'm sure he could do it all.
Yes.
No spring game. They don't want TJ to take over. TJ Lateef. Fred says fan fest and groin stretches. Now, I guess my follow-up question would be, who's stretching whose groin? Are you stretching your own groin? Or are you stretching others' groins?
How do you do that? How do you stretch somebody else's?
Minnie, if you have to ask, you're not.
Jeez.
All right. So what we know is that we don't know a whole lot other than a date. April 26th, correct?
Yeah. Yep. April 26th. Yay.
Okay.
Which is just the weekend after Easter. So get ready, guys.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's right. Easter is very late this year, it seems.
April 20th?
It's pretty late. But it's appropriately placed. I'm not complaining. Whatever.
Okay. Do you want to talk about this next thing that
you've
been dying to talk about? Okay, good.
I'm so excited.
I don't know if everybody else is going to be as excited as you. Just warning you guys,
we don't have artwork for it. But there is a former Husker who is on the roster for the Savannah Bananas. And his name is not Steve Perry, but Kyle Perry. Kyle Perry, the one-time Nebraska left-handed pitcher, is now a pitcher. He's on the roster for the Savannah Bananas. Minnie, where are you at? Are you familiar with the Savannah Bananas?
Thanks to you, I am.
Okay. The Savannah
Bananas
Bananas
it into my world. Otherwise, I wouldn't be.
They're great. They are. It's a ton of fun. I know sometimes you can catch Savannah Bananas games on Hulu or on, oftentimes ESPN. They got a. I think they got a grassroots following through social media, and they built it up. But what it is, it's kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters, except they actually play games. It's not like always rigged that the Globetrotters beat the Generals. But with Kyle Perry being a former Nebraska pitcher and now Savannah Banana, he sent this out on X earlier this week and said, do we think Banana Ball could sell out Memorial Stadium? And Troy Dannon re-X'd that or reposted that saying, let's go KP, Memorial Stadium is open and we are ready for you. Hashtag Banana Ball. Now, Banana Ball is very different from traditional baseball. But yes, Josh says, Bananas meeting with Dannon to have a game in Memorial. I want to go bad. They do tours around the country. I know they're coming to St. Louis, I believe, to Busch Stadium, largely playing in more minor league stadiums. But as the awareness for Banana Ball grows, so grows, they can go into bigger and bigger stadiums. But banana ball, I want to tell you the rules of banana ball because, Minnie, I know you've said that you hate baseball, right?
Craig, I said that to you privately.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. Minnie, you have said that baseball is not your favorite sport.
I mean, the cat's out of the bag now. Yes, I don't think baseball is actually a real sport.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you're wrong, but okay.
Saying.
But banana ball is different. Banana ball is a fast-paced, entertaining version of baseball with its own set of rules. For example, scoring. You know that in traditional baseball, it's, the team that touches home plate the most wins, whether the score is 1-0 or 15-3. But this time, the scoring is the team with the most runs in an inning scores 1 point, except in the final inning when every run counts. So whether you win the inning 1-0 or 10-9, you get 1 point. The banana ball games have a 2-hour time limit, and no new inning will start after 1 hour and 50 minutes. So there you go.
What? Now that I can get behind.
2-hour time limit. Also,
Nice.
you know how if you ever watch Major League Baseball or college baseball or minor league baseball, and the batter steps out at the plate, adjusts his helmet, adjusts other things, takes a few practice swings, and takes up time. Well, if you step out of the batter's box, it's a strike.
Good.
And you can't if you there's no bunting in banana ball. If you bunt, you're ejected from the game.
Really?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
As far as stealing, you can actually attempt to steal first base at any time during your at bat, which is kind of fun. You can just
wait. What?
Off. You can attempt to steal first.
You're batting. Okay. You have the bat in your hand. If the pitcher's not paying attention and is talking to the third baseman, you feel like, oh, that's my chance. Really? Oh my goodness. That is crazy.
Now, you know about the concept of a walk, right? You strike out or a walk.
Uh-huh.
So walks are called sprints. And on a sprint, the hitter runs to first base and can advance to as many bases as possible.
Oh.
There are no mound visits allowed.
Nice. Love that.
If it's a foul ball and it goes into the stands, if a fan catches it, it's an out.
Shut up.
No, that's a true rule.
Wait, seriously?
Yep.
So everybody brings their mitts. They're like, all right.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. This is actually way better.
See?
They should totally make baseball more like this.
Let's see. We'll do the golden batter rule. Once per game, a team can send any hitter in the lineup to bat in any spot. We call it the golden, they call it the golden batter rule. And then if the game is tied after 9 innings or 2 hours, it goes to a 1-on-1 showdown. And I believe, if my understanding of that is correct, because that's all it says here, the 1-on-1 showdown is here we go. If the game, come on, don't do that to me now.
What happened?
Oh, if the game is tied at the end of a 2-hour time limit, the game will go into a showdown tiebreaker. In each showdown, the hitter must score. If they score, it's worth 1 point. And I believe that is like there's one fielder and then the hitter, and I think the pitcher's like impartial. I don't think they can do anything. But they hit the ball and then they have to round the bases, and it's kind of like maybe a shootout in hockey or something like that, but they have to score. So banana ball is a ton of fun. And I remember it caught my attention because, you have relief pitchers driving up to the mound in like one of those big wheels type things, or you have a hitter who's on stilts. It's a lot of personality. It's a lot of fun. It's completely different from baseball as we know it. So I'm excited for Kyle Perry for this new chapter in his career. And while Banana Ball in Memorial Stadium sounds wild, I still think the Haymarket's probably a better spot for it. But
That sounds so great.
Banana Ball is so much fun.
So I guess Troy Dannon is talking with the team owner in February, and they're going to get something worked out because he loves this idea. But probably it'll have to be for the next season because they already have their entire 2025 season locked. So 2026.
No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that at all. Like, I'm Banana Ball tickets sell out very quickly. Like,
that just sounds so fun. Quick. Oh my gosh. And have you been?
I've not been. They haven't been to St. Louis yet. I think they were in Indianapolis or Louisville. They were within driving distance last year. We just didn't. Again, we couldn't get tickets. And we didn't even try for St. Louis this time because we just, like tickets go on sale 10 o'clock in the morning on, the third Thursday of the month, and they're sold out within 5 minutes. And if you miss that window, you're SOL. So,
yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I encourage you to go on their social media or YouTube and just, watch some of the interactions. Like I said, they played the Party Animals quite a bit. That's their version of the Washington Generals. But unlike,
they're going to be here. They're going to be here this weekend.
Well, there you go.
Oh my
God! As Dustin Waterman says, banana tickets aren't cheap. So be prepared to shell it out. And yeah, the owner wears a yellow tux with a yellow top hat.
Oh my gosh. How much fun is that? That is so fun.
We got some
all right. Well,
salty
Greg,
guys.
You know what? Now you've brought this up a couple times. This Savannah banana stuff. And I'm like, yeah. But honestly, since it is baseball season in a week, this is perfect timing.
I'm not perfect, but I have pretty good timing.
Mm-hmm. That was yeah. Now, yeah, they are kind of expensive. But not, I mean, it'll be fun.
Are you Greggling the ticket prices?
Well, yeah, because I just wanted to know, what does their schedule look like? Do they ever come out this far west? Okay.
This internet search brought to you by Greggle.
Nice. Yes. Well, Greg, we still have time for the 5 Heart Theater.
I can't find my script. Doggone it. I just want to say, I should hope that I can talk faster than you type, Pitt. It's what can I say? It is a lifelong learned skill, talking fast. Hey, I want to say this publicly in case he's watching this. I don't know if his work schedule's changed or what, but Justin Raji, we haven't seen you around here in a little while, my friend, and we miss you. So come on out and shoot me an email, of course. Let us know what's going on. We miss you. So. Where is
my God.
Where is Ron?
Where Coronation needs a t-shirt. Where is Raji?
Oh, here we go. Dondre wants me to wing this 5 Heart Theater.
Yeah. I got another idea for the 5 Heart Theater.
Oh, good.
But we have to run it by a couple of the Holger maniacs to see if it would be okay.
Okay.
It's probably a little far-fetched, but Okay.
Is that the show now, Minnie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you did good.
Thank you. Everybody. Oh, wait, hold on. Starred comments. Pitt says she is. Greg's shit connection infected me. Restart. BRB. That was at the beginning of the show. But hey, it's amazing how well everything works on my end when I'm not running late and when I sit here and get my computer started 20 minutes ahead of time. So
isn't that amazing?
You're all welcome.
Wow.
Wade Farr says that Greg got that Just for Men stuff. Maybe it's the lighting. I definitely didn't. But if things appear darker, less gray, I suppose.
They actually do. You look a little darker right through here, right where somebody would just kind of frost his tips, apply some hair color.
Okay.
Last week you had a whole silver dome.
Thank you. Josh says, Greg, you son of a bitch. You jinxed us last year saying long snapper didn't matter. You keep that voodoo to yourself this offseason.
Yeah.
I didn't say long snapper didn't matter. I said, let's not spend a whole lot of time on it. So
no, he's right. He keeps receipts. You did say it.
Josh also says, Greg trying to sound like he's from Kentucky, Louisville. Like, Josh, if you haven't been to Louisville, you don't know. That's how they say Louisville.
Okay. Honestly, though, why can't you say Louisville?
You can't ask me that. I'm not from there.
Yeah, but
you have to
that's
ask
what you
that.
keep saying. You keep saying Loveville? How do you say it?
Louisville.
Okay.
You definitely don't want to go down there and say Louisville. You might get knifed. Frost is tips. Who is Greg? Sugar Ray. There might be a picture of Greg from college with bleached blonde tips. So
what?
Yeah, there might be.
Bleach blonde. Oh my goodness gracious.
It was a different time. Pitt says, seriously, Greg, do you need a computer consultation? I can remote from here and you can watch.
Oh, very nice.
I don't know if I want to watch. I think what I need is, so here's the thing. I'm going to run this computer until I can't run it anymore because obviously just bought a house. Can't afford to go replacing, non-essential items. But it's working. I mean, it's working much better now. So we're gonna keep.
Are you plugged in?
No, I've got a 1 gig of internets.
Well, you're the only one using it too.
Yeah.
That's
Again,
why.
I kind of planned to do this to have the kids on nights that I wasn't doing a podcast. So I know. I mean, I don't know if that sounds bad, but I also know that I work more on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So, whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. I didn't have Jinko jeans. Muhammad Ali is from there.
Okay. Good to know.
Louisville. There you go. Louisville. Pitt says, wait, so Greg graduated in BFE, Illinois, and traveled to pay out-of-state tuition in Chadron. I know Josh addressed this. I didn't go to Chadron State College. I worked there as a 21-year-old, 21 through 24. I worked in radio up there. So I did not pay. I was never a student at Chadron State. Wonderful institution. Beats the hell out of University of Nebraska Kearney any day of the week. You can't spell drunk without UNK, right? But I loved my time up in Chadron. Obviously got to meet Josh up there and so many other wonderful people. But never went to Chadron State. So you answered that. This is your life question. Josh says, Fireside Chat, Greg is in his underwear on a bare rug. No one wants that. No one suggested. Like that's a Josh
It's
mental
really
concoction
bad.
right there.
No kidding.
We were talking about my mom finding the wig, and Fred says Greg's mom was like, enough internet for my son, Greg. What with the wigs and such. So great one. Prairie maggots. That's what a loper is. That's right. Melissa True. Minnie has talked the curse right into long snapper consciousness.
No, I did. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. You guys.
Thank you, Melissa. Talk about
No.
receipts.
It was you. It was you.
No,
It was you.
really? Are you going to
And
argue with
all
Melissa?
of them.
Are you going to
This is
argue
the
with
one
Melissa?
thing. This is the one thing I will argue with Melissa about. It was not me.
I'm not going to argue. I know better than to argue with Melissa. So,
I probably shouldn't either.
Minnie and Shaggy wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
But she said it on the podcast. Wasn't me. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Nebraska fans of all ages, it's been a true honor and privilege to spend this quality time with you tonight. Thank you to Beth for spending over an hour with us, talking, getting us all caught up on all things Nebraska volleyball with the retirement of John Cook, well-earned retirement for him, and the announcement of the hiring of Dani Busboom Kelly, a.k.a. DBK, a.k.a. D-Boom. We will do it all again next week. And make sure that you tune in on Monday nights with Monday Night Therapy with Minnie and her guest of the week. And just, I appreciate all of you, all the support, more than you know. So thank you. Thank you, Minnie. Thank you, all of you tremendous people. And I like to say, I haven't said it in a couple of weeks, but we know you have a lot of entertainment options on a Thursday night. And I do appreciate the fact that you spend your time with us here in Coronation on YouTube, Facebook, and X. So for my co-host, co-pilot, and great friend, Minnie Hunt, I'm Greg Mahachko. This is the Five Heart Podcast, and we remind you each and every week that Five Heart is all the heart you need. Minnie?
And go Big Red!
Go Big Red.